Hi everyone, Leanne here. I hope you're doing well. I'm really excited about this video because I've teamed up with Alison from Little Coco Studio to do a collaboration on just talking about all the fun ways in which we experiment and play within the fountain pen hobby. So she will dedicate her video exploring more about fountain pen nibs. And for me, it's going to be about the inks, all about the inks and really my journey of using so many different tools in the ways that I've swatched inks over the past couple of years. So as you can see, I am flipping through my old journal here, and I'm just reflecting on all the different ways in which I've swatched the inks. I've used really probably over 10 to 12 different types of tools. And looking at this, I can see already I've used like 3 or 4 on each page, 3 or 4 different tools. So as you can tell, I just love swatching inks. There's something really relaxing and fun and meditative really about the experience. So I just can't wait to kind of dive in and tell you more about my swatching process, the journey, and just everything that I know about it. So I can't wait. So the first thing is the notebook. I get a lot of comments, questions about what notebook do I use to swatch my inks. This is a Hobonichi A5 plain notebook, and I believe this notebook still uses the old Tomoe River paper, but I can't be sure about that. And this other thing that you see here is my ink swatching toolbox, and it contains all the little things that I use for my currently inked process, really. It's what I've been using kind of on a monthly, weekly, day to day basis. It doesn't house all of the swatching tools that I've used, it's what I currently use. And as you can see, I have all of my Kakimori nibs in here. This particular box contains my stainless steel, my brass, and the pen nibs. And then I have a separate Kakimori box dedicated to my glass nib. And then also I have some memo pads here where I like to do kind of single swatches. When I get a new ink, I like to just swatch it out and I test it out on those little memo pads. And I'm looking through to make sure I'm getting that glass teaspoon, which I will also use later on in the video. So my tools. This is a brief tour. Starts humbly with the bread clip. It's actually the very first tool that I use to swatch inks. So I have that there. And then also hailing from the medicine cabinet is my makeup spatula. This is a plastic little tool that you use to scoop out moisturizer when it's in like a tub form. Very cute and translucent. And then what else am I going to pick up? There we go, Q-tips. You see this on many fountain pen YouTube channels. I mean, they're just really handy and they're fun to play with. And then I've got my eyedropper, very handy, really easy to clean. You can just take off the little cap, the red cap, to rinse it out. And of course, my trusty stainless steel cups. You've seen many of my swatching videos featuring the stainless steel cup method. And also now I'm picking up a black wing pencil because I had a very short stint where I used the eraser. Not just on black wings, but also just on regular pencils as well. And those are fun. It's like I'm stamping with them. And then as I hold up this glass teaspoon, I've used both the spoon and the handle for different methods, and that's just really fun. And then also I have this glass pen. I end up not using it to really swatch or to dip or to test out the inks in this video, but it is something that I use quite often. And then now I've opened up the Kakimori box full of the metal nibs, so you can see the stainless steel from left to right, stainless steel, brass, and then also the pen nib. And I don't really use the pen nib, partly because the ink capacity isn't that high, but I guess it is good if you just dip it and do a quick, quick phrase or a quick line to just test out the ink. And then last but not least, is this last but not least? I think it is. It's the Kakimori glass nib. I broke my very first one, and a viewer lovingly, thoughtfully sent me an extra one of theirs. And so I'm really happy, and I'm taking such good care of it now that I have a dedicated box for it. But yeah, this is pretty much the lineup, really from beginning to end, from 2022 when I first started my fountain pen hobby, focusing really on ink swatching up until now. So It's like a total of like 8, maybe 10, 12, if you're considering all the other glass pens and all the other sorts of nibs that I've used in the past. So the ink that I'm going to use really to swatch and test out with all of these tools is Wearingeul Wayfarer. And I thought this would be a great ink to try out because it's saturated, it's really vibrant, it's this gorgeous teal color that has some sheening properties, kind of like maybe like what do you call it, like a red sort of sheen. But also it has like a beautiful sort of bluish shimmer. And just because of the timing of this video, I really didn't get to show you any close-ups of it when the swatches and the samples had completely dried, partly because the sun was setting and I just wasn't able to really show you a clear image of kind of the ink swatches once it was all dried. So you really can't see like its shimmer in its finest glory, but I just thought it was just like the perfect ink to be able to swatch. You really can see it. It's a really beautiful ink. So the first tool that I decided to use, particularly to write out this text here, is using the Kakimori glass nib, and I have it mounted in kind of your standard universal nib holder. And I found that the Kakimori nibs mount really well on these universal nib holders. But what I love about the Kakimori nib, the glass nib in particular, is just its consistent ink flow. And you really can tell that the glass itself, not only was it made by a glass artist in Japan, but there's just an elegance to it, and the ink capacity is quite high. I can, with one full dip of my glass nib, I can write a full page of text on an A5 sheet of paper. But it's beautiful, and it's been such a reliable writer for me. And if you can get your hands on it, I would say please get one if you can. They're out of stock everywhere online, but if you visit maybe possibly your local fountain pen shop or stationery shop and they carry Kakimori, you might be really lucky and find one that they have in stock. Now, what you're seeing here is kind of my quintessential favorite sort of swatching style as of right now, and it's using my glass teaspoon and using the handle. I dip it in the ink, and then with that one dip I'm able to draw a little cloud swatch, and it's just a fun organic way. It doesn't look like every other ink swatch that I make. Every cloud looks different, and I think I really like that sort of quality to that particular style of swatching. Okay, now this is the swatching method that I think I'm probably most known for, and it is my trusty stainless steel condiment cup. This is this is a tool that I found in my kitchen drawers. It used to house my kids' hummus, peanut butter, what else? Like salad dressings in their lunches, and I looked at it one day and I thought, you know what? This might be a fun swatching tool. Because I was thinking about fountain pen nibs are all metal, either stainless steel or gold, and I thought, well, here's a stainless steel tool, and I think it might be a beautiful way to kind of smear and manipulate ink on paper. And this is kind of an homage with the glass nib pen. I am drawing kind of like a floral leafy wreath around my circular swatches, and that is something that I used to do early on in my swatching journey. But yeah, really, I think even just the process of swatching inks and trying all these different implements, and even right now, I'm just sad that I wasn't able to just capture kind of the ASMR quality of all these various implements, like gliding or scratching the paper surface. But that, to me as well, has been really relaxing, just to kind of slow down and be with your pen and paper and ink. Yeah, there's just nothing like it when you want to just take a break from just your regular everyday lives and to unplug from all of the tech and just get down to the analog. It's just so relaxing. Okay, so this next one is an eraser tip from Blackwing Pencils. I was really inspired by the sorts of Instagram channels, I think it's called Cactus Cloud Art, where they use pink erasers and they carve little images out of, they carve images onto the erasers and they use it as a stamp. And when I saw that, I just thought about the erasers on my pencils and also Blackwing pencils. And I think they just make lovely images. You know, you just treat them like stamps, and they just really make unique images and impressions on the page. And particularly like with the Q-tip and also with the erasers, there's just this really fun, playful quality. It just reminds you of being a kid again. At least it does for me. And so I think that's one other thing about this sort of ink exploration or experimentation with inks is that you really allow kind of that childlike play to come forward. And anytime you can do that in life, particularly as an adult, I think it's really helpful. It's so therapeutic. Okay, so this is a little bit of an improv, kind of a last minute adjustment that I made, but this one is really ink vial caps that I use. I decided to use the kind of the small bottles that J. Erbon has some of their ink bottles in, and I decided to use the cap to make these small circular swatches. In the upper left hand corner of the screen, you can see that I have one of those 5 milliliter vials, and I didn't look at the cap before I decided to film, and I realized it has a sticker on top. So last minute I decided I couldn't use it, and so instead I decided to use a J. Erbon cap. But I think they make beautiful circular swatches, especially when you don't want to make the large circular swatches with the stainless steel cups. And now I'm returning to the very beginning, which is really using the very first tool that I used when I wanted to test out all these sorts of inks that I was beginning to acquire. These bread clips, they're so much fun. I mean, they don't cost anything. You just buy your bread, and when you're done with the bread, you can save a bread clip. And they're just fun to kind of manipulate the ink. You can get, you know, kind of that wispy or scratchy look at the beginning. They're just really fun to use. And I used it a lot at the very beginning of my fountain pen ink swatching journey. And then also I finished with this makeup spatula. I actually used 2. This is, you can see it's like a rounded edge, but I also have a metal spatula where it's a little bit more of a blunt edge, and I feel like I can, you know, just come up with different sorts of looks, and yeah, they're just different ways to be able to play with the ink. I've returned to the glass nib, and I am just filling up more of the negative space, the white space on the page, with some extra lines and doodles. And as I'm just kind of surveying this page, even right now as I'm doing the voiceover, I'm just thinking about why I love swatching inks and playing with inks and trying different methods so much. I think part of it is that it's a departure from everyday life. There's a lot of playfulness, there's a lot of resourcefulness. I'm using a lot of creativity and curiosity when I think about what things around the house can I use to play with inks. You know, it's a real joy when I could find something that was laying in the kitchen or was in the junk drawer, or was in my office supplies drawer, and I can repurpose it for some creative purpose. And I think just because I can use my brain in that way to be creative and resourceful, it adds a lot of fun and joyfulness and a slowing down when typically life moves so quickly. Also, I just think about the ways in which swatching inks in this way really gets you to get to know the ink itself. You know, if you ink it directly into a pen, you may miss some of the finer nuances of these inks, such as, you know, the sheening. Sometimes you may not see it so explicitly when it's in your fine nibbed pen, but when you have it swatched, you can really see how it sheens, or even some chroma shading properties, or thinking about how it shades even, that you might miss in a finer nibbed writing experience. But also you can see what I just did is I decided to take the spoon of the glass teaspoon, the spoon side, and kind of make these organic blobs, these circular blobs, as I kind of smear the ink on the upper left part of the page. Okay, so on to the giveaway. It is open, the entry period is open from now, August 9th, until August 23rd. August 23rd is the last day for you to enter. we're going to randomly pick one winner to receive the items that Allison and I are both giving away. And here are the three things. The first thing is that you have to be subscribed to both of our channels. The second is to respond in the comments below to the question or the prompt in our videos. For me, what I would love to hear from you is, what is your favorite way of swatching inks? Is it using Q-tips or ink syringes to blow beautiful organic images? Is it using a glass tip pen? Or have you even tried using a stainless steel cup? Just let me know. I would love to hear what some of your favorite methods are. And lastly, please fill out the Google form below. It's the way that we're going to get the email address that you would like to be reached if you are the winner. We're not going to respond to a comment and say that you are the winner. There are just too many instances where people have been scammed that way. And so in order to avoid that, please fill out the Google form. We're going to ask for an email address that you'd like for us to reach you if you are the winner. Not only will we directly email the winner, but we're also going to announce the winner through a post on our respective community pages. Okay, so I repeat, we're not going to reply to your comment to say you won. It's going to be through a community post and also through a direct email. Okay, so what am I giving away? So I'm going to give away the J. Erbon glass tip pen, these two cute little bread clips, cute color combo by the way, an eyeglass dropper, a stainless steel cup, a glass teaspoon, and also 4 samples of inks, some of my favorite inks, including Wearingeul Wayfarer. So good luck. Thanks so much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.